I'm Jeff Maleski, professional Scrum Trainer with Scrum.org. And I want to talk with you just a minute about a different perspective for you to consider for all those different things you might be tracking for your development teams. When we're thinking about metrics, we often break them down into 4 categories: activity, output, outcome, and impact. And I want you to think about, or give you a different idea to think about for each of these categories. So, activity. Something more like stuff you do or time you spend on something. And maybe a few examples might be hours you worked or meetings you attended. And then as we're thinking about output, those can be something like counts of stuff or maybe things you make. A few examples of that might be defect count, maybe velocity, maybe gallons of sweat. Now we're going to start thinking about outcomes. And so for outcomes, we might think about those as customer user behavior changes or changes in our product. Some of the things we might be measuring inside of there would be things like user retention numbers or user adoption numbers. And then lastly, impact. And these are more like organizational goals or our effects on the organization. So some things we might want to think about considering measuring here would be revenue growth, maybe cost savings. And so holistically, when we're taking a look at all these categories of metrics, we think activity and output are more team-focused, while outcome and impact are more externally focused. But let's start thinking and putting these things together. So we spend some time to make some things. Because we made those things, we changed our user behavior. When we change our user behavior, they have an organizational impact. Or in other words, last sprint, we spent 300 hours to build these 8 PBIs. Because we created these 8 product backlog items, we created a new checkout workflow in our CMS system. In that new in that new workflow, we reduced cart abandonment rate by 7%. Because we changed that user behavior, it had an organizational impact of raising our revenue by 6%. Hopefully that gives you a better idea of understanding how these metrics can flow into one another and where you really want to think about putting your emphasis and how easily some of the on the left and more internal might be gained versus on the right where you really want to be focusing. Thanks.